gonna face Gawain Jones from England, but we're gonna focus on the games on board 1 and 2. This is Sergey Karjakin playing against Vladimir Kramnik. Sergey Karjakin in sole second place, Vladimir Kramnik 1 point behind. And yeah, they don't play a lot of openings, these top guys. It's once again 1 knight f3, g3, and the symmetrical Grunfeld structure. If we can zoom in a little on the board, I'll have even smarter things to say. This looks like a standard position. Castles. Kramnik has a lot of experience here from both sides. Had a couple games against Caruana recently. Caruana likes his plan with b6 and e6, but Kramnik goes for a different move. The move bishop to f5, castles, and knight to e4. I'm no specialist here. Every time I try to look at these lines, then I come to the conclusion that they are too drawish. The live public here is complaining that there's no board on the screen. So tech guys, if you can't do anything about the big screen, please bring it up. In the game, Karjakin against Kramnik, yeah, they're playing this symmetrical Grunfeld position where I never understood what hope White has to be better, frankly. Still no board on screen. Help me before the public is gonna try to do bad things to me. Here, yeah, the position I have on screen after knight c6 is just equal. I'm not sure Karjakin is trying to grind away from something that really shouldn't be there. Or you could put it differently, Vladimir Kramnik has managed to equalize the game comfortably with the black pieces. I'm not really sure what claim for an advantage Sergey Karjakin could even have here, but we've seen him put together wins from good positions, bad positions, equal positions. He's just crushed everybody in this World Cup with his trademark tenaciousness and resilience. So can we get the camera up on the big screen? I'm hoping the live audience here can see what's happening soon as well. I can see what's happening, but it's not really that much. It's an equal position in the Grunfeld. Knight to f4 has just been played, attacking the pawn on d5, and Kramnik goes for e6. This is always a little double-edged because now White can try something like f3, intending to push g4 and trap the bishop on f5. So Black has to be a little careful, but in the long run, I would even prefer Black now. He has a very stable structure. Pressure against the pawn on c3, can put his knight on c4, and I believe this has gone well for Vladimir Kramnik, who now has to figure out how to react to the threat of g4 picking up the bishop. One logical reaction would be to just go h5 and stop White from going g4. Another idea could be to play g5 to give the bishop the g6 square, but that comes at the price of weakening his kingside a little bit. So let's see what Kramnik does. Goes knight c4 first, pushing the bishop to f2. Now the threat is still there. Both e4 and g4 would pick up a piece. So Kramnik has to do something about it. I think he has to go g5, which is not a move you like to make because it gives the knight the h5 square. But he's relying that the trumps he's amassed on the queen side will outweigh this weakening of the king side. And let's see if he's right. Karjakin goes e4 and g4. Can you guys see now, by the way? Yep. e4, g4, defending his knight on h5. Very complex position. It's not aesthetically pleasing to be on either side of this. But Kramnik says, I'm worried about nothing. I'm going to keep attacking on the queen side. You're not going to checkmate me on the king side with my bishop on h8, covering these squares. Let's see if he's right. White does have some active options there. He could go h4, or he could even think about f4. He starts with h4, very logical, trying to create a weakness on g5. And Kramnik says, yeah, maybe I was a little optimistic about this queen a5 enterprise. I'll go back and cover the pawn. Could even think about queen takes g5 here, which is a bit anti-positional. Yeah, and I think it's just bad because of f4 followed by f5. Said he goes bishop takes h5 first, and maybe now he wants to go queen takes g5. Messy. Ooh. I think someone started a drinking game at home for every time I say who's better and why, and this is one of these situations. I have no idea who's better and why. It's just a mess. f4, queen takes f4, e takes d5. What I do know is that Karjakin excels in messes and also at defending slightly ugly looking positions. I'm not even sure if his position is ugly here. It's just such a non-standard random position that I don't have the slightest clue which side I even prefer. I think I prefer black because it looks like it's a little easier to play now after e5, but I really don't know. It could go either way. So hard to find a move here, and with 1 minute 30 against 1 minute on the clock, this must be a nightmare for the players trying to calculate. You don't really want to go d takes e5 because then bishop takes e5, activates the bishop, threatens mate on h2. Karjakin plays rook cd1. One of these Karjakin moves, they look passive, but he keeps everything defended, doesn't allow any tricks, and he's very good at that. Magnus Carlsen called him shameless in a sense that he doesn't mind making ugly moves if they help a purpose, and that's certainly a skill to have, which has taken him very far in the Blitz and Rapid tournaments he's recently played. Rook f8, completely logical, occupying the open file, and Karjakin readjusts with rook d1. I was going to say knight d2, but that didn't work yet because of bishop to e3. So Kramnik goes bishop g7, maybe intending to play king h7, rook g8 at some point, trying to occupy this open g-file, or king h8, rook g8 rather. Queen to d3. Yeah, I'm still just guessing who's better and why. I honestly don't know. Queen d2 is a nice little move because you can't take it, since then knight takes d2 would trap the rook on f1. Queen to g3 and king h8 looks very logical, but Kramnik insists on offering the queen exchange, which probably Karjakin should go for now. Queen g5, hg, and then something like rook d1. Is that so bad? Or rook e2? The problem with queen g5 is then after hg, black all of a sudden has two connected passed pawns on the h and f file. So Karjakin decides to avoid that queen exchange, but I still slightly dislike his position. Queen to d7, he's trying to make things murkier by attacking that rook. The rook goes to d8, and now d takes c3 would follow after queen c7, knight to d2. I thought knight e3, but knight d2 is also strong, and I believe now is the first time I dare to evaluate the position. Kramnik is much better. f1 is hanging, there's a threat of knight f3 check, followed by queen takes h5, and d takes c3 will build a huge passed pawn on the c-file. This looks close to winning for Vladimir Kramnik to me, which would once again change the tournament situation. If he pulls it off, then Sergey Karjakin would move out of second place at the very least, and Kramnik would move up the ranks. Bishop e5, another strong move, just stopping this d-pawn from advancing any further. If queen e7, you just take, I think. So he goes queen takes b7, but now c2 is decisive. Rook c1, knight f3 check, rook e1. You could go c1 queen and then knight f3 check, but maybe he's looking for something even stronger in order not to give up the c-pawn. Now he goes c1 queen and knight f3, picking up the rook. Takes, and this should be a winning position. Bishop f1, just take the big pawn on d6, probably with the rook. No, he's going to go queen g5 check first. No, he doesn't. Takes the pawn, and yeah, this is winning. There's black is an exchange and the pawn up, and yeah, this allows instant signification to an endgame. Queen takes e3 and bishop d4. So Kramnik wins that game and puts down his claim for first place by defeating the always dangerous Sergey Karjakin. Let's see what else do we have still going.